Hey everyone, welcome to the top managers edition of the preseason for Serie. It's going to be top five managers. Um, and we're going to run through five managers that would be chosen for your team. This is an additional spot on your roster, which also costs money, can counts towards the four players that you can pick for that team. And at the end of the day, you are choosing more of a team rather than a manager because it's based on team performance. I don't think if the manager gets cards or anything like that, it impacts your point totals. Or if the manager gets sacked or something like that, I feel like it's just the person that represents that team for the year. Maybe if there was a coach transition and maybe they just like switch the name automatically or something like that. But anyway, we are going to run through who I think are five of the top choices for managers. The first one here is for the certain type of manager that wants to really play um, or like wants to always have the positive multiplier and get lucky a couple times with big scores. So the multiplier that I'm talking about is there's a points multiplier. So there's a table of how the managers score points, and every week your manager is going to score some amount of points, and then that amount of points will be multiplied by a coefficient based on the difference in price of the managers of those teams. So a win, let's say, for Davide Nicola of Cremonese, facing, let's say, Juventus. Their managers, I think, 12 something. Um, so there's a 6 point difference between the two managers, a certain coefficient or certain price difference, so a 6 point difference between or price difference between the two managers. There's a certain coefficient that will be given to each coach. It will be like, let's say I'm not sure or I do know the numbers because I have it in a sheet, but I don't have it right in front of me. But let's say it's times three the amount of points for whatever Nicola Davide gets, and it's like zero point 0.6 multiplier for if the Juventus manager were to win. So a big team manager beating a small team manager, if it's 10 points, well, maybe you'll actually only get 5 points or whatever because of what the multiplier is going to be. Whereas if the underdog wins and you have the underdog, while they might have scored 10 points based off of what the manager has, it actually might be 30 points because they have a multiplier that's greater than one. And so while it's good to have a manager from a big team because they'll probably win a lot of games and a lot of the points are based off of goals and wins. Um, you also will get the multipliers of less than one, which means you actually won't earn as many points as the point breakdown will tell you. So if you pick a manager from the lower teams, then you can get bigger scores if they do pull off the wins. Just you do need to be careful that if they get negative points, well, I'm assuming that will also be multiplied. So you wouldn't want to take have like the Davide have -5 points and then have the minus or the times three multiplier on it and actually get minus 15 points or something like that. Um, so that because I think you get -2 points for a goal against and positive 3 points for a goal for. So if they get beaten for nothing, you could end up at -8, as far as I'm understanding it, or something like that. I don't know. I do need to go over the point totals again, but from what I remember looking at, like it is possible you get negative scores. But yeah, so if you want to chase a small team that will always have a positive multiplier and just try to hit those key, like get lucky a couple times on those big fixtures where you could get giant hauls of points and hope you don't really come across negatives, that's one way you could do it. That's not the route that I'm going to be doing it, but I wanted to have that option out there and kind of explain what the multiplier is a little bit and what you can get by picking a lower manager. The next one is Baroni of Torino. I think this is for chasing the upside at the start of the season. Obviously, Torino's not a horrible team, but they have extremely difficult fixtures at the start of the season, facing all the top teams. And normally we want to avoid those, but Baroni is going to be the lower cost total in each of these games. And so they're going to be facing the likes of, I don't know exactly which ones, but they're facing the Inters, the Juves, the Romas, and stuff like that. If I had my sheet up in front of me while I had the slideshow going, I'd be able to tell you. But I do know that they have the hardest. Um, fixtures at the start. And if you want to be targeting when you have the highest multiplier, Baroni is going to be the one to start out with, I think. And hopefully they can catch a win or a draw, even some high scoring. You get extra points if it's a player that the manager subbed onto the field that scores a goal as well. So you'll have a big multiplier for the first bit of the season, then you can transfer them out and move on to the next one for the next chunk of the season if you wanted to. But this is where a lot of the points could potentially be based on fixtures at the start of the season. The next one is Stefano Pioli, a little bit cheaper than the big team managers. Fiorentina are a team that constantly competes in the lower European competitions every year, so they're not bad. They're generally a top table team. You're probably going to win more than you lose. Um, and they always compete. Like I feel like every time they face Juve, it's a draw. So, and they do get results against the other top teams as well. So there could be good opportunity for money with the Fiorentina manager and Stefano Pioli. Maurizio Sarri, I was thinking just because he's cheaper than the Inter's, AC Milan's, Juve's managers, and they have good fixture at the start. And this is kind of like the opposite of the Torino pick, where if you want to have a manager that has easier fixtures, you won't get a big multiplier from them, but you might be safe and at least get some points and avoid negative points for sure. I think with Lazio's, they should be at least winning or very least drawing most of their games, but you will have a lower multiplier with them. You're looking at about, I think, zero point 0.8 as a multiplier for most of the games in Lazio's first couple fixtures. And the last one, who I have in my squad right now, I guess I haven't done a draft yet, but I do have Ivan Juric right now. They have good fixtures to start. I don't want to spend too much of my budget on a manager. It's kind of hard not to spend that much unless you're going for the really, really low managers. Um, but he is a cheaper than the top teams. And it's actually a very similar pick between Juric and Sadi. Just Juric is zero point 0.5 cheaper. But that multiplier is going to be hovering around zero point 0.8 for most of those fixtures. And we know that Atalanta is a good team. Lookman still hasn't moved on. Obviously, they've lost a key piece in Retegui this past year. But I think he might be who I start with. Going to do a little more delving into the points table and seeing if it could be worth going for a cheaper one. I'm just scared of the negative points, but I need to see how likely that is to come up. But anyway, that's who I'm kind of looking at right now. So looking at representing Cremonese with Davide, going with the Torino manager for the fixtures at the start, Pioli, Sarri, or Juric. Let me know what you think and if you have any other strategies that you're using towards the manager spot on your team. Take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.